for joining us. We're going to get started in 20 seconds, but if you have a couple seconds here, just create a quick Flipgrid account. You can do this as we start and be finishing this up, but if you would like to participate in today's activity, then get a free Flipgrid account or download the Flipgrid app on your phone. All right. So I am going to go ahead and get started here. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a very, very quick session today. So we're really focusing in on seamless virtual learning with these very specific tools, which are Google Slides and the Google Chrome browser, and using Flipgrid as an example. Flipgrid is not the focus of this, but we're using it as a tool to show you some of those other tools that can help you make your presentations feel seamless. So hopefully this one will. If you cannot hear me, you can't hear what I'm saying right now. But by now you know that you can't hear me. So click next to your microphone icon, the little up arrow to change it to your internal speakers. Sometimes I know I have it set up to my microphone instead, and so I can't hear anything. So that might fix that issue. I'll leave this up for just a couple seconds. And if you're having any support issues, please chat to Julie, who is our moderator, and she will help you with any sort of technical difficulties during this session. So just a couple of quick Zoom etiquette pieces. We love to see you if you would turn your cameras on. However, if you turn your camera on and your video starts becoming kind of choppy and broken up, turn your camera off because it does take up some more bandwidth. And so if you turn your camera off, it'll just make that video come through a little more clearly. You are automatically muted when you come in. We will have a Q&A at the end, and so we'll have you sort of share out some questions at the end. If you have pressing questions during, please direct support questions to Julie. And if you have any content related questions, we've got Pedra on to help answer those. So thank you so much for being with us today, Julie and Pedra. And there's the screenshot of the Zoom toolbar where you will be able to unmute, start video, and use the chat feature. You will receive a recording of today's session in your email. So if you feel like this is going too fast and you want to review it later, you will have the opportunity to do that later on. Also, all the links that we use today will be sent to you as well. So my name is Cassie Smith. I am the Director of Digital Learning at MindSpark Learning. Here's my email, cassie@mymindsparklearning.org. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is @sheiterates. And Pedra I'm very happy to have Pedra here today. We used to teach together at Mullen High School, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Pedra Gatewood, and I am a high school French teacher as well as a contract facilitator for MindSpark Learning. You can email me at pcgatewood@gmail.com, follow me on Twitter @CuriousCreator9, and I also have a blog called The Curious Creator that highlights EdTech tools and tutorials that I'll paste the link in the chat.
Yes, thank you, Pedra. Pedra is an incredible resource. And actually, Pedra, if you wouldn't mind just pasting the link to your blog in the chat so that people can check that out later. And we'll add that to the links that'll be sent in to your email. So Pedra is an incredible tech resource for all of you educators. Just a quick little information about MindSpark Learning. We are a nonprofit in Lakewood, Colorado, driven by the belief that the most impactful with Flipgrid. So your task is to rewrite the chorus of your favorite nursery song or nursery rhyme to be about quarantine. Now, like any good teacher who is asking her students to do something embarrassing, I have done this myself first. So I will share my little recording with you. I did mine.
He's off the deep end.
Watch as I dive in. Okay, so yes, thank you. So you're gonna rewrite the chorus of your favorite song or a nursery rhyme to be about quarantine. If you are having sort of a brain fart right now
the deep
and can't think of a song, here are a couple. I know this is putting you on the spot a little bit, so here are a couple that you can steal and definitely improve. Mary had to quarantine, girls just want to stay home, hold me closer, tiny Zoom friends, etc., etc. You can see the other examples there. So if you're not feeling super creative right now, feel free to steal one of those. You also have the option to just not participate if you'd like and watch sort of the process of facilitating this from the sideline. This is
Cassie?
Yes.
We have a couple people asking if Flipgrid requires a code. They're all trying to set up their accounts. Should they need that?
Yes, there will be a specific link to this grid. So you can, when you're creating your account, you can just set up an account and then we'll get you the right link to get to this grid.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. So this is a 15 seconds max recording that you're going to make. And if you were able to get the Flipgrid app, then you can, even if you weren't able to get it, you can scan this QR code with your phone and it'll take you to download the Flipgrid app if you haven't yet. It'll also get you to the right grid. Or you can use this link. This link will be posted for you in the chat. And Pedro is going to post that for you in the chat. So if your computer has a camera, you can just do this from your computer. It doesn't have to be from your phone. And you can use this specific link to get to the right grid. So when you use that link, it'll take you to this page. Once you're signed in, you should be able to see this. And you can see a couple of video examples from our MSL design team. I made them all do this for today's session. Okay, so if you are already familiar with Flipgrid, then you can go ahead and get going. You have about 5 minutes to do your song. If you're not familiar with Flipgrid, you can stick around for a bit of a how-to. So there are two different ways that you could participate in this. You could do it from your computer, as I mentioned, if you have a camera and a microphone on your computer. And so you'll see something that looks like what's on the left there if you used the link from the chat. And if you're using your phone and you scanned that QR code, then you see more what's on the right-hand side there. Either way, you will click that green plus sign to record your song. And I'm going to give 5 minutes for this activity. So the timer is already going, but I've got a little video with instructions here. So when you click to record, it'll make you log in. And then when you click that plus sign, it'll come up with a video. You can kind of see yourself. When you click record, it'll give you a little countdown and you can do your recording. Once you're done, you can click pause and then click next. You can also add more clips if you want. You only have 15 seconds, so you can kind of edit what you're putting out there. And you can add text, you can add filters, you can add accessories. If you click on stickers and then the little smiley face with the baseball hat, you can add accessories. Once you are happy with the video, then you can click next. Oh, you can also draw on your screen. So go ahead and click next when you're happy with your recording. You can rewatch it to make sure that you look great and that you sound great. You can even rearrange the clips and click next when you're done. It'll let you rewatch it again. so that you can make sure that you're happy with it before you share it out to everybody. And then it'll ask you to take a selfie. So you'll take a little selfie that'll be the still frame of your Flipgrid. And then when you click next again, then you'll need to make sure that you're seeing this uploading screen. Give your video a title and submit video. So when you're done with the recording, when you hit next, it's not going to post until you've taken your selfie and then actually posted it and submitted it. All right, so if you have any questions, please direct them to Pedra in the chat. Otherwise, go ahead and just try it. And if you don't get it done, don't worry about it. All right, we'll see you in 2.5 minutes. All right, the timer is up. So if you haven't submitted yet, submit. Make sure you submit. I'm going to move us over to Flipgrid so we can see. And again, if you weren't able to submit, it's not a big deal. This is just so that you can see what this process might look like for students. All right, we got a couple here. If there's some more that are in the works, submit so we can see them. Okay, I'm seeing one in the chat that THB was not able to get onto Flipgrid, but the lyrics are COVID had a little plan. I'm guessing this is doo-dah, doo-dah. We thought we can go out all day. No, it must be, oh, Mary had a little lamb, thank you. COVID had a little plan. Little plan, we thought we can go out all day. No, but as we stepped out by the door, the police said, get back in there, something like that. Thank you for sharing that. That's really cute. All right, I'm gonna refresh this. Am I turning bright red right now? Like I said, like any good teacher, if you're making your students do something embarrassing, you better be embarrassing yourself too. All right, so let's check some of these out. I'll start with Pedra's.
Come on, quarantine, I'm getting tired and mean. To get out of the house means everything.
Submit. Make sure you submit.
Sorry, Sam. You can hear me in the background.
Stay inside, do 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 do. Wear your mask, do 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 do. Eat a snack, do 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 do. And get on Zoom.
Nice work.
Jack and Jill stayed in the house, in the house, in the house. Jack and Jill stayed in the house because they're quarantined.
Nice.
I'm scared.
Quarantine, quarantine.
I'm actually scared.
My daughter's playing video games. I'm trying to work remotely.
That was great.
Hello, that is no song that I'm going to sing, but I like it.
Thanks for participating anyway, Alma.
I was preparing to go to a party when I hear from Mr. Rowley that I had to stay home and be quiet. I thought I was an idiot, but then I heard it had COVID.
Amazing. Thank you all for participating.
He's off the deep.
And there might be more. If you want to see more, I'll have Pedra put the link in the chat one more time if you're submitted after I refreshed. Thank you so much for participating. That's so fun. So now that we have done that little activity, the purpose of this was just to show you, lead you through an activity and then tell you sort of the things that I added in here to make participating in that a little bit easier. So one huge tool that is a huge part of this is Screencastify. If you're not familiar with screencasts, it's just taking a video of whatever is on your screen. And this is so important when you are not able to stand next to your students and guide them through something like Flipgrid or a website that you want them to get on. If there are, if you're kind of having to tell them click here and then click here and then click here, you can do that really well through a screencast. And it doesn't have to be live on Zoom. It can be, you can send it as a link, but a screencast helps so much. And Screencastify is a free Google Chrome extension. So we'll post the link for screencastify.com in the chat. And you can see here that if you add it to your to Google Chrome, it'll just come up in your above your bookmarks bar to where, if you're familiar with Chrome extensions, where they all live, and then you can click on it at any time to record your screen. And this website gives you some good tools to learn how to do that. So another thing that you can do with Screencastify is create GIFs. GIFs are animations that just repeat over and over. They're short clips, and you may have seen them if you're on social media at all. You definitely know what a GIF is. And it is pronounced GIF. I was very convinced for a long time that it was GIF, and I was corrected. So you can turn any screencast video into a GIF. And what's nice about that is if you have a direction that you want students to follow that's maybe a little bit complicated, or when students are like, can you go back to that slide? Can you play that video again? Can you show me that again? If it's that kind of step that they keep missing, or they just need to see it again and again, it's nice to create a GIF with that one simple instruction repeating over and over, so that you know that everybody's got this step done before you move on to the next step. So you can export inside of Screencastify. You can, when you click download, you can export the animated GIF. And then it will download to your computer. So here it is downloaded, and I just dragged this one that I'm showing you is a GIF of adding a GIF. So the GIF can just be dragged up into your Google Slides. And then there it is ready for students to watch over and over. So Screencastify is an incredible tool and it's free. Another thing that is really important when you're trying to lead students through some kind of online tool is adding screenshots. So there are, I know I have a Mac. I know that when I want to take a screenshot, a picture of my entire screen, it's Command-Shift-3. If I want to just draw a box around a certain thing that I want a screenshot of, it's Command-Shift-4, and it'll allow me to select something. On a PC, it's a little different. It should be FN and the Windows button, or FN and print screen. Sorry, FN and print screen, or the Windows button and print screen. And if neither of those applies to you, then just quickly Google how to screenshot on your specific device. Like if you're on a Chromebook or something, just Google it. It's always very simple to do, but it makes a huge difference when you're adding a screenshot. Instead of saying, go up to the top and you should see something that says file and then make a copy. It really helps to have a picture. So they know, okay, I'm looking at that on your screen and I see that on my screen. That's where I need to click. Another great thing is embedding a YouTube video. So step one of this on Google Slides is clicking on insert and then video, and then you can add one from YouTube. So you can just search any video from YouTube and select it and drop it into your presentation. So you can embed a YouTube video in your slide. I just used this to search for cute puppies. And then the next thing that's really neat that you can do in Google Slides is trim the video. So if you click on the video and click on format and format options, and then video playback, you can decide the start and end time. And this is really nice, especially for things like maybe a TED Talk, when there's 20 seconds at the beginning of like the TED like music. And at the end, there's like a lot of applause, and maybe you want to just cut it down, or maybe you don't want the whole 20-minute TED Talk. You just want to show them 2 minutes of it that really pertains to your lesson. You can trim, so you can give it a start and end time to the video, which is really nice. Another thing is autoplay. So you may have noticed that some of my videos earlier just played as soon as I went to that slide. And so you can set a video to autoplay in that same format options, video playback. You can check the autoplay box for it to autoplay when you advance to that slide. So you don't have to kind of move up, navigate to the little play button in order for it to play. And finally, the last part of that format options video playback that I wanted to show you is muting the audio. So I'm a huge fan of putting timers in slides. And I always use this one because there's basically every increment of time that exists in this specific look of timer. The only problem is that at the end, it's got a very loud police siren, which may come in handy sometimes, but it's a little jarring, especially when you're listening on Zoom. So I always mute the audio on that one. And I'll trim the end to just be, so I don't want 16 seconds of a siren, and I don't really want the siren to play. So I just mute the audio on that. So this is a very short session. We're already almost at the end, but we are going to send you into breakout rooms for 2 minutes for you to share something that was new to you with your small groups. So we're going to send you into small groups. Just share one thing that was new to you, or if you're like, oh, there's also this other tool and you want to make recommendations to your breakout room, great. We will see you back here in 2 minutes.
And if you're not currently in a breakout room, you may need to accept the notification that popped up on your Zoom screen.
All right,
Pedro,
so if you bring them back now, it should give them a 30-second countdown. I know it's so quick.
Pedro, I think some of the answers you sent back to me only went to me. I can send them out to everyone, but I see the QuickTime one. It looks like only maybe came back to me. Oh, Cassie, it closed them out with no seconds. It must have been an earlier setting, so they're all coming back.
Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. Sorry that breakout room was so short. If you are using Zoom with students and you haven't tried breakout rooms, it's really a great tool to use because, you know, when you've got 20 or 30 kids on Zoom, they can't all talk at the same time and they're dying to talk to each other. So if you send them into breakout rooms, you can put them into small rooms. You can choose the room size. So you can say 2 to 3 students or 4 to 5 students and have them talk about something before you bring them back. But it's a nice way to allow them to interact with other people. So I know that was fast and furious. We are going to post the link in the chat for the evaluation. And when you click on that link, you're going to be asked to check your facilitators. So definitely check the box under my picture and then check the box that says other and type in Pedra's name. So if you need to go, we're almost at time, but make sure that you fill out the evaluation. We are going to move into a quick Q&A and then I'll put the evaluation slide back up. Okay. So I'm going to have Pedra sort of respond to questions here. She is currently a classroom teacher and teaching from home. So we will open it up. And if you have a question, then I'm going to have you click. Well, maybe we can just allow people to unmute themselves for right now, or should we do?
I have been putting some questions in the Google Doc, so maybe we could start with some of those, and then if people want to just continue to chat their questions.
Absolutely.
And I think one that's coming through most often is, how did you set up the breakout rooms? Can you monitor your sessions for bullying or other things?
That's a great question. And you can jump into breakout rooms, but you can't see more than one at once. And so one thing that you can tell your students is that when they're in a breakout room, they can ask for help. And I think that would be anonymous, but I'm not sure, to be honest. But we can include a link in the follow-up email to how to use breakout rooms and how to monitor them. But you can jump from room to room and visit all the rooms.
And then we also have some people asking, it's actually a lot about the Zoom. So we'll definitely include some resources about Zoom. People have a lot of questions about the breakout rooms and kind of how to keep tabs on some of those things.
Cassie, for the breakout rooms on Google Meet, I don't think you can do that in Google Meet. It's just in Zoom, correct?
Yeah, I haven't seen that feature on Google Meet. I've only seen it on Zoom, but maybe because they're becoming very popular, maybe Google Meet is working on that. I'm not sure. I've only seen it on Zoom.
All right, are you guys good if I unmute some people? I have some people asking to ask a question.
Go for it.
Well, actually, Crystal just chatted it. So she is from Trinidad. She's a French teacher, and she asked, I wanted to ask you, which tools do you think are most applicable for the teaching of French? Skills like reading, speaking, writing, etc.
Take it away, Pedra.
All right. Personally, I love Flipgrid. This has really brought, we know that having students speak a foreign language is like pulling teeth. And this gives them a very comfortable forum to go ahead, and even my shyest students have actually improved, and making it the key though is the routine. I do also like using Google Docs as a hyperdoc and having them insert their weekly speaking questions, and they contribute based on the theme. So if we're doing cooking, we may have a few different columns of themed questions, but they develop the questions and they input them into a shared Google Doc. And I'm not hiding the ball. They know exactly what questions they'll be asked every Thursday as long as we're on that unit. So speaking is really Flipgrid, Google Docs, the G Suite just works well together in general, but I feel like that's the most beneficial, especially with the speaking.
Thank you. And Cassie, do we want to take some more questions, or we can also send out like a frequently asked question in the follow-up to this?
Yeah, maybe we can do like a couple more. And also, if you need to jump off, I know we're at 11:31 Colorado time. So if you need to jump off, no worries. We will keep recording, and maybe we'll just go to 11:35 with questions.
Okay. Candace, I don't know if you can hear me, but I see you raised your hand, so I'm going to unmute you if you want to ask your question out loud.
Thank you. Is this a free system that we can use? We can tap into it. We are a nonprofit, and we work with inner city parents and inner city teachers building social emotional learning. So will this be something we can use?
Are you referring to Flipgrid or Zoom?
Yeah, Flipgrid. Flipgrid.
Yes, it's free.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Flipgrid is amazing.
I use a variety of ed tech tools, and Flipgrid is always my number one that I go back to.
All right. A lot of our questions were the same. We have some people asking, how can I use this in my language arts classroom, in my world history classroom? I don't know if you want to talk in general to how maybe people could use some of those things in their different types of subject matters.
So personally, I tend to go to other curriculums, workshops, and steal their ideas and adapt them to foreign language, because there are not as many foreign language workshops. And so a lot of times, one of my favorite activities on Flipgrid is Confessions of a Fairy Tale Character. And so then they have to be Cinderella and do a twist on the story. And you can also create your own ending and leave the story off at a certain point, and they have to create an ending for it. The students can also respond to each other's videos. So you could start a story, and then they could follow up with reply videos to the others. It can be a vlog, a video, log journal. There are so many different ways. I've also used it for pronunciation. And then what is great about Flipgrid is I can off to the side leave them feedback that is emailed to them, and then that helps with their weekly pronunciation or whatever it may be, or feedback. But if you hop on Twitter, you'll see some very creative ways that people are using Flipgrid, especially in this remote learning time. Scavenger hunts, they have to come back and show what they're doing, virtual talent show. But Twitter is definitely a good resource to see some new ideas.
Thank you. And then I think the last question that we will ask is there any program that you recommend for virtual labs for courses such as physics or different science-related subjects?
That is not my world. There is a resource that I will go ahead. When I facilitated some EdTech institutes last summer, we had a lot of science teachers, and I do have a resource that I can include in the links that we will be emailing out. But off the top of my head, because that's not my area, then I don't have any, but they will be in the links.
Yeah, I am sort of in the same boat, but I know that there are some great online simulations for things. And if you look at tools like Khan Academy, that maybe have some online interactive pieces, if you'd like to follow up on that, you can definitely reach out to either myself or Pedra, and we can maybe discuss some options for that. I did just pull up the Flipgrid Twitter. So this is, like Pedro was mentioning, Twitter, and specifically for Flipgrid, has been an incredible resource in the last couple of weeks because teachers are doing amazing things with Flipgrid and getting very creative. I saw one in the chat about physical education, and I saw one Flipgrid on a phys ed teacher sort of having students figure out how to do a physical ed challenge at home and film themselves doing it. And so she's got herself like lifting up water bottles and then running around the house and making her own kind of workout challenge course. And so there are some really creative ideas you can get from other educators on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, I highly recommend it. It's a great resource for creative things. So we are at time now. I'm going to share one last time the evaluation in the chat, the link for that. And thank you so much for joining. If you enjoyed this session, let us know and reach out. And we hope to see you at another one soon. Thanks, everybody.